How's everybody today? Great. Excellent. Well, thank you for staying for the last of the breakout sessions. And again, as we started off yesterday, how many people here had a chance to see the presentation that we had the first day? Awesome. All right, so I'm going to breeze through a lot of the information. Anybody not have a chance? Let me try that to see what Planet Wealth. Okay. So there's a few people out here. I'm going to go into a little bit about the company and then get straight into the new deal for retail investors. First and foremost, Planet Wealth, let me ask some questions. Does anybody believe the internet's a fad? It's kind of our CIO absolutely raises his hands. From a lot of confidence, not. Whew. No, I mean, the quantum system, is that Al Gore's part two?
That's next.
Okay, can't wait. So the idea behind the internet, as I make that somewhat joke, is the fact that we're communicating in different ways, in different paces, in different styles, in different scale. And as we've been able to do that, there's been a lot of changes that have happened in the way companies can interact and grow. And social media, I don't know how many of you are fed with social medias throughout the day, but there's different statistics of how much time people are spending on social media, which is always nerve-wracking for business owners to see that the average for 2 hours on social media each day. So you truly 8-hour workday out of your employee? Probably not, but is that helping the company? Potentially, if they're on social media talking about your company, which I don't know how much of that's happening. Is you combine the internet, you combine social media, and you combine the fact with Jobs Act. How many people in here are familiar with the Jobs Act or have heard of it? Okay. So the Jobs Act's introduction for being able to provide as a playing ground for we've created. And if you take now technology, the internet, the Jobs Act, which has created less regulatory constraints about taking capital from the marketplace, and then you combine on top of that the opportunity, we got our clicker back. We take on top of that and put the ability for somebody to understand how to capitalize. Thank you, sir. We now know that companies like, anybody heard of Robinhood? Of course. What Robinhood really do? If you look at it, Robinhood took and broke down a paradigm that you can actually buy a small share of stock and you really don't have to do much. You don't have to go through the whole compliance of meeting with the broker and getting registered and go through all that tedious stuff that typically was one of the reasons people didn't do it. So they broke down that paradigm. But what they also did that's ironic is that they capitalized on social media to be the way that they spread and gamification to get attention to their company. So we looked at that and we said, what if we took that same approach but put the virality component in it to the people that participate in your community? Meaning, if you fueled people's social capital or their social network with the ability to turn into social capital and make that working capital, would that be an equation that works? Yes or yes? Yes. Why is it? Because people are going to feed their own pockets and their own goals and dreams before they're going to feed anybody else. So if you give them the opportunity, put up a way that you then can turn. We feel that's the next step to. It's the next step to being able to participate in the capital markets. What we've set up within Planet Wealth. So with that, go through a few of the things that we've used for helping structure. Obviously, we're going to start off with our disclaimer, which you saw that we got to go through and read this line by line. Just kidding, we're not going to do that. But as you guys know, that we want to, at this conference, as you've seen many of the participants, do things the right way. We want to be compliant. We want to make sure that we're following the guidelines. We don't want to be pushing the gray area where we don't need to. So as an entity, we've chosen to take the conservative road and make sure that we're registered and regulatory compliant in all ways possible. So I'm sure you guys, anybody need more time to read that? We all good? All right. So capitalism broke them. We feel that there's an opportunity for people to participate in capitalism. The status quo right now is costly and confusing, and what I'm going to talk about, and for those of you that had a chance to see our CIO, Lance, give a demo of how our PPM constructor works. Did anybody see that was in the audience? Perfect. So for those of you that didn't raise your hands, that are faces that are new, the ability to go out and create your offering in the marketplace is something that I was personally experienced with back in the 2004, 2005 timeframe. Was I'd paid attorneys over $40,000 to create 38 SPEs, single purpose entities, for me to go out and do real estate acquisition. In that process, I wanted to make sure that I was offering accredited investors with relationships over 30 days that had less than 35 people. For those of you that are shaking your head, you know the headache of that process. What we've done within Planet Wealth is simplified that to where you can go in, put your data in. If you don't have a company, we'll help instruct you what state, what entity, and then that turns around and spits out a full private placement memorandum that you can in turn offer to your social network to go out and be funded and on your way of operation within a day. Is that cool? So that's within the system. We've created the ability and the solution to be able to provide that what we call turnkey fashion and to create wealth without cost. Because the way that we've also set that up is the ability for you to participate in your own offering doesn't require necessarily your capital. So truly you can be involved in creating wealth without risk yourself and help build that network and that favorability for investors to participate in your investment deal, but give them preferred returns. So what was one of the ailments in crowdfunding? Was it really investor advantaged or was it issuer advantaged? Issuer by far, because issuers, if you had any reason, you could put it on a crowdfunding and you could raise money. And the investors really have no idea what they're getting involved with. There's no parameters, there's no guidelines necessarily set up. So we looked at that as one, crowdfunding was a result of the Jobs Act, but could we take that to another level? Could we develop the ability for people to create funds that are truly investor advantaged and give the investors favorability so that they feel more comfortable? And that's what we did, is we created an easy, affordable solution to do that. Asset supported is where we're playing right now, to where, say, collector cars, artwork, things that have good asset value that typically aren't going to go to zero. They're going to have some sustainable value, therefore the investors are protected with the ability to participate with an asset that's structured there for them to do that. So we've created the system. Planet Wealth, just for those of you that weren't able to see the presentation, our goal is to empower 165 million middle-class people with access to capital that have never had access before. Our goal is to reach 1 million members the first quarter of next year. And our marketing plan, proprietary marketing plan, allows us to get people involved in our company and capitalize the company without dilution to current shareholders, and at the same time grow our membership base for free. Investor advantaged investments. Let's talk a little bit about that. What are investor advantaged? Well, it's a platform where capital is accessible to all, where you can empower anybody to reach their financial independence. You can build a community of working together with like-minded individuals, and then level the playing field between Wall Street and Main Street. And what we've done is taken our technology, the same thing that Wall Street charges exorbitant fees for, we offer for free. So is free usually a good price? It's a pretty good price. So how do we then deploy it? Well, what we've created is a powerful, timely, and smart enterprise. And I'll get into the details here in a second. This is our staff straight off the runway from GQ. Our Planet Wealth ecosystem, for those of you that want to really understand how all this works and all the background information and systems we put in place, from insurance with Assuredly, from custodial, from Know Your KYC, AML, from our wealth funding platform, registered transfer agent, so we have Vertalo integrated. And now with that system, we have a complete turnkey, and as we board our ATS platform, which we already have the back end connected and built, then you'll have a full suite to be able to participate in capitalism. Pretty cool, huh? Next, marketing. We've got a sophisticated marketing solution in place that takes us to the market and reaches the masses. Of the 165 million, we know there's about 65 million between home-based businesses and small to medium enterprises out there to serve. And then how does Planet Wealth work? As we offer our products for free, on the back end, once you start raising money, there's a few fees involved that allow us then to only pay, you're only making outgoing payments upon your success of incoming payments. great system, right? So we got skin in the game until you get your skin in the game. We create recurring revenue from the data management, investment banking, and the partner rev share. So without getting into any of those details, some of the ecosystem that I've had a chance to talk to some of the people that are involved in capital structures and real estate structures, it's really important to point out for those that are interested in participating in Planet Wealth, which I'll talk about with the new deal. We recognize that the database value of customers out there is incredible. There's companies now that are transacting at $5,000 per investor data file. And as we then position our company to do that, we know the importance of people involved in the network and treating them well and providing them a good service. The marketing that goes out and generates our user base is self-perpetuating, which gives us scalability, and then we build tremendous database value as a company in doing so. So for somebody that's wanting to, what we call own what you build, while you build what you own, this is something that if you were to want to participate in what I'm going to share with you at the end, gives you an understanding of how we're generating our wealth as a company and our net worth, which is extremely undervalued right now in the marketplace of significant proportions, we feel. And then the competition out there right now, really not to talk too much about competition because there's nobody doing what we're offering from a simplistic standpoint. I started off the conference as the first speaker of the conference talking about how we're creating an ecosystem for people to participate in capitalism, where many of you have seen parts of this ecosystem. And as we plug all those in, if you remember that diagram, the big picture is we take those pieces where we're offering people participation in capitalism versus where people are now looking at tokenization as that comes around. We've got those pieces built out and will be integrated into it as we see the laws evolve and allow us to make sure that our customers and all of our shareholders are properly protected within the laws we offer. So our competitive advantages, there's real no direct competition for what we see in the marketplace. We have quick and effective access to capital provided to those people that participate, turnkey solutions for investments. So one thing that we've done is we went out and secured a partnership with the developer of beachfront property, and we positioned that on the website to where somebody can come in and start and go towards every step that they need to own their own beach house. I mean, if anybody ever thought about owning a vacation property and didn't want to go through a timeshare presentation. Not that we're timeshare without a presentation, but if you want to own a property, we now have the platform to be able to allow you to participate and go out and raise the capital. And as I said before, if you're somebody that isn't in a position to have the capital to put in it, but you have 10 friends that have $10,000 and you all want to come in and get a property taken down, we have that opportunity there for you. And it can be all accomplished within a few short days by participating. So anyone can participate with or without capital. And then lastly, how do our current capital options, our competitors really stand up? So have anybody in here raised money for a business? By show of hands, okay. So in that process, are there typically fees involved? If you went to hard money, it's maybe 3 to 5 points on real estate, it's maybe 14, 18% on the back end. You've got market manipulation, how that's being shorted. If you're in a public market, you gotta watch that. You got crony capitalism, which is something that is true and really happens. I'll scratch your back, you scratch my wallet. And I heard that term and I thought, that's really crony capitalism, scratching each other's wallets, not your backs. But that's the current environment we live in. And you have a network of people formulated that's called Wall Street in a lot of situations that you weren't allowed to participate in. And where we've come full force ahead is we've created into platform, it's a community of like-minded individuals that now have a pure and shared vision to say, let's create wealth together. Simple concept. People want it, people are yearning for it, and we provided it. Where investors are treated with priority. So as an investor, if you're wanting to put your capital to work, you now have the ability to decide how you participate in a deal based on the structure that we put together that are favorable terms for investors, meaning the investor gets money back first before the issuer gets paid. The issuer has to follow like Lance, our CEO analogy is that we provide the bumpers and the bowling alley rail, so that as an issuer, you have those bumpers to give your investors protection that they're going to stay within the lane. And as you start to grow and do more structured deals, then those bumpers can go off, go into different offerings, and therefore then you can create your terms that might be a little bit more favorable, but still treating your investors with most favorability. Does that make sense? Okay. So we want to create a level playing field. We want people to invest with advantages and fund early. So we remove the steep upfront costs, which it doesn't get much more expensive than free, to being able to get engaged with our platform. We've taken a focused methodology. We create the deal structures and the assets supported. And again, we want to emphasize investors the priority. One person I was talking to at the conference is, well, I don't want my investors in control. And we were kind of perplexed by that concept, and I asked a question further. I said, why is that? And they said, well, I don't want to deal with vulture capital, which come in and dictate how you're going to run the company. Got that. Understand, because that's the traditional mindset of capital. We said, well, what if your investors were giving the control mechanisms that you're going to follow, and they agree to it, and they're within agreeable terms to you? Therefore, we got to win. And that's when we got the thumbs up, because a lot of people just become renegades. They're entrepreneurs. Their egos are speaking faster than their business plan and their exit structure for their investors. So if we can create the match to where you can play in a field that's fair and a field that allows investors to be able to become liquid in a way that they feel that they can, then we have a win-win. So what is the new financial reality? What is the new deal? Within Planet Wealth, we have a saying that you build what you own what you build. Currently, for accredited investors, we're in a of raising 20 million. In that, you can make the choice between equity and debt. In that, you get a 5%, and we'll give you some of the details. If you're interested in this, please come and get my card. Lance is here, our CEO's here. You can come, Greg, and get a card from us, and we'll give you some more information. Right now, we're valued, putting it out at $1 per share to $53 million valuation. Like I shared, we've already raised our first 10 million, so we're beyond proof of concept. We've shown that social capital and going to your network works, because we've done it. And if then you enable those people to do it elsewise, we're only going to get gooder from here. That's my English. Gooder. Just seeing who's listening. So you also have the chance to participate if you want to go from the debt side, a 2-year note that has a 5% equity kicker. So either way, that's a best decision for you as an investor to participate. We want to offer it. But the ironic thing that I really want to point out is, did anybody get a chance when Robinhood was getting started, before they had 13 rounds of raise? Did anybody get a call to say, hey, would you like to invest in Robinhood? Nobody in here? How about Coinbase? How about public.com? Had you gotten that call, which wasn't going to happen because it went to the sweethearts, the Wall Street people, you would have seen some of these returns 1,000 times, 700 times, 22 times. What we want to do is we want to stay away from people that aren't, I'll put it in the positive way, we want to provide our opportunity to people that are going to help build the community. So we want to provide it to each and every one of you that are able to participate as an accredited investor right now. If you're not accredited, we want to make sure that you're ready, so that when a public listing or a SPAC offering or a Reg A Plus might come to reality, that you'll be ready for it as well. But we want to make sure that we maintain and grow and keep that true essence of our community amongst ourselves, and allow people to own what they build and build what they own and participate in the growth with us, and not wait till you're on the retail end of buying out at high price after the multiples are already gained from all the venture funds. So with that, I just want to close out that we are very happy to be part of the Digital Asset and Securities Conference, and I know that many people here have had a chance to understand some of the tokenization, liquidity points. All that's coming, folks. We don't want to be the ones that are out here trying to experiment with people's money. We've got that built. We're implementing it as the rules and regulations allow us to put in place. We've got, if you saw Lance's presentation earlier, we've got the platform live monitoring when we're ready to pull that through. And right now, we're truly in this of building the community. Like I said, our goal is to get to 1 million members in the first quarter of next year. We feel that we're well on that goal. We got our CAC down, for those of acquisition cost, to a very affordable level, much below what current Robinhood's is, which is spectacular. And understanding that not only are we going to be able to provide people the same opportunity that like a Robinhood or a Coinbase or a Public.com might offer, but it could be yours to also participate in, meaning this is truly a ground floor opportunity like I've never seen the ability to do it. And in the meantime, if we can go help people capitalize their dreams, what's going to stop us? So I invite you to come talk to us, ask any questions. I'm here till my flight. We got to leave at in a half hour, so any questions you have. But thank you for all coming out. Any questions that you have? Great, so we'll be mingling around if you want to ask any one of us. With Planet Wealth, we're here to help you get started, and any things that you have that we can help you with, we'd be glad to. Thank you.